just like that, check-ins are all squared away, and nice and early too, might I add. So, as you can see, 11 a.m. Thursday. Normally I train with Chris, but Chris is a little bit behind schedule. He fell a little bit behind with his time management, so I'll be hitting the gym solo again today for my third and final limb session of the week. But yeah, productive morning so far, boxed off. I mean, last night was a fantastic night of sleep. I mean, I got 2 hours of deep sleep, about 2 hours of REM, and a total of just over 7 hours of sleep. So if I can repeat that moving forward, I'll be as happy as a pig in shit, as they say. But time to get the pre-workout meal sorted in a minute, meal number one. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on, I'm really happy with how today has unfolded so far. Like, it's been very, very seamless and very productive. I mean, it's amazing what happens when your clients actually check in on time, right? And that brings me to another point. If you do have a coach, for fuck's sake, check in on time. It's really not that hard. If you can't check in on time on your check-in day, submit your check-in the day prior so it's there waiting for your coach to do the work. You've got to understand that as much as we might want to be able to be at everyone's beck and call all the time, as a coach, we have a schedule to adhere to and uphold, and we also have our own life, right? I mean, I'm just a normal person at the end of the day. I'm just like anybody else. I'm just like you. I'm just like the person down the street. Like, we all have our own errands that we need to run. We all have our own obligations that we need to uphold and adhere to, our standards that we need to adhere to. And I mean, if you were to go to a doctor's appointment, you wouldn't just rock up half an hour late and expect to still be able to see the doctor, right? So why would you expect the same of your coach, who is arguably just a professional in their field, just like a doctor is a professional in their field? Like, you check in on time if you want to get a check-in response. If you don't, then it depends. You might not get a check-in response, and you can't be salty at the end of the day if that happens, because it falls back on you and your lack of diligence and your lack of urgency and your lack of, I guess I could say, structure and adherence to the expectations that are laid out. I mean, I've got a terms of coaching document and a liability waiver that I get all of my clients and athletes to sign before I start working with them. And it doesn't just serve as, I guess, a legal document, but also to mutually agree upon a set of standards that both individuals in the relationship are going to uphold, myself, the coach, and them, the athlete, the client. And it's a promise that we're making to each other, and it's like, I promise to uphold my end of the deal if you promise to uphold your end of the deal. But if you don't, or if I don't, then obviously that's a problem. So yeah, and don't get me wrong, shit happens sometimes. Shit will hit the fan from time to time in life, and yeah, you might not be able to check in on time, but just understand that still there's guidelines in place, regulations in place, or expectations in place, and if you can't meet those expectations, as shitty as it is, you still might be subject to not getting a check-in response if you submit your check-in late, even if there is plausible reason or justifiable reason as to why that happened that week. So yeah, food for thought. I mean, I have always been diligent with my coaches, always checked in on time, and if I ever did check in late, I always checked in with the expectation I was not going to get a response. And then if I did get a response, it was icing on the cake. But if not, I wasn't bothered. I'd just crack on with the current plan for another week. It's really not that big of a deal. It's not the end of the world. People who make it out to be a big deal are basically turning an ant mound into a mountain. And a lot of the time, as a coach, if somebody's like that, they just become a headache or a thorn in my foot, so to speak. And yeah, I don't really enjoy working with individuals like that much. Just as if I were to put myself in that position, I wouldn't expect my coach to enjoy working with me much if I made a big deal out of something so trivial. So yeah, at the end of the day, that's my little rant for the day. Frustrated coach rant. But yeah, I'm lucky. All my clients are really punctual and tentative, and I mean, if they aren't, they don't last very long anyway. So yeah, I just want to say I appreciate my athletes, I appreciate my clients, and if you are working with a coach, if you're watching this, you're working with a coach, not one of my clients obviously, but just somebody else, yeah, just keep it in mind. Be mindful and be respectful of their time. It doesn't mean that you're never going to check in late. I mean, we're a human. We all have things come up in life, but just don't check in late and still have the same expectations that you would had you have checked in on time. That's what I'm getting at. Anyway, time to get this meal sorted and ready because the day is not getting any younger and I still have quite a lot of work to do. I've still got to finish some new training blocks, a couple of nutrition plans, but I've done all the check-ins for the day. All of Thursday's check-ins are squared away. And it might seem pretty early, you might be thinking, oh, you don't work too much. But I've been working for fucking hours this morning. I started work at 8 o'clock, so 8 o'clock till about 11 o'clock. So that's, what's that? 3 hours of continual work. Like, I do not break focus. So I've got ADHD and autism. It's just like locked in, which is probably the equivalent of how much work somebody gets done in a 9 to 5 office job in an entire day. Because they talk to Jill, they talk to Jack in the office, they have a wank in the toilet, they take a 5-minute break to have a cigarette, they have their lunch break, all this sort of stuff. And by the time you add up all of that and all the fucking around between the actual work that they are doing, they're doing pretty much fuck all work for a 7 or 8 hour day. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So time to get a cracking and let's attack this training session. Okay, so by this point in time, I'm pretty sure I don't even need to explain what the hell this is right here. Meal number 1, pre-workout meal. If you didn't already know that and you've been watching my videos, then God help you, you are a lost cause. If you're new here, then that's probably the reason why you don't know what it is, but it's meal 1, pre-workout meal. I've shown it a million times, so I'm not going to go through all the ingredients and quantities. You can backtrack in old videos and watch that if you want to find out. But yeah, have this. I'll take my noon supplements, which is my zinc, or first serving of zinc, my serving of copper for the day, iodine, selenium, nattokinase, arowana extract. It's a supplement for the heart, herbal heart supplement. And that's pretty much it. And then I'll also take 2 digestive enzymes and 1 dihydroberberine. I've already taken serving number 1 of metabolic heart and kidney support, so I don't need to take another serving until the evening before bed, but I will take my serving number 1 of metabolic liver support after I eat this meal. So yeah, that's some plan of attack. And then it is time to train legs and arms. Decaf coffee too, by the way. There's enough caffeine and theobromine in the 25 grams of cacao powder in that meal. Alright. Again, never could I ever get sick of this meal. A little bit of calf training advice.
do your calf work at the start of your session rather than at the end. Now there's two reasons for that. One, you're going to get higher quality sets for the actual calves. And two, it doesn't detract from the remainder of your session. It's not going to negatively impact how hard you can train on any of the remaining exercises in the training session. And it's going to allow you to perform better on your calf work. So they're the two main reasons. Do it at the start. Don't treat calf training like an afterthought. The next thing too is when you're actually performing calf raises of any variant, but specifically calf raises where your knee's fully extended, you want to focus on just working in the bottom 2/3 of the range of motion. Remove that top third of the range of motion if you can. And spend a little bit more time in that stretch. Pause for 2 or 3 seconds in the stretch. It'll make a heck of a difference, I tell you that. You don't want to be bouncing in and out of the hole like a retard trying to fuck a doorknob, which is how most people train calves. You're going to get nothing from that. There's a reason why people have shit calves. It's because of the way that they actually train them. It's not because they have shit genetics for calves a lot of the time, although that is the case sometimes. So yeah, two cues that I like to focus on when doing calf raises is fully lock out the knees and then allow the foot to pronate a little bit in that stretch, roll inward slightly and just spend a bit of time in that stretch. Pause for 2 or 3 seconds in that bottom position and then drive up. And only work in that bottom 2/3 of the range of the motion. Remove that top third of the range of motion. And like many muscles, it's not how much you can do when it comes to training calves, it's just how good can you train them. Now these are feeling quite good today, I'll say that. That's for sure. Let's see how this second and final set goes. Now with the warm-up sets, what I generally do is I'll just do a couple of reps for the final warm-up. I don't want to fatigue myself or exhaust myself before I get to the actual sets that matter. So I treat the final warm-up as kind of like a potentiation set. So I'll do maybe 3 reps max, 4 reps at the absolute most, and then move on to the first working set. And the final warm-up set is very close to the working set load. So preacher curl to target the bicep more in a lengthened position, and then facing forward cable curl to target the bicep more in a shortened position. Just one set of these. So if I do 2 sets on preachers, I'll do 1 set on this, and vice versa. Same thing with tricep pushdowns and French press. I'll do 2 sets on one exercise and 1 on the other. I'll never do 2 sets on both. Okay, so last week it was 16 with the stack, so that's what I got to match. That's what I got to match. One rep up from last week. Happy with that. Definitely happy with that. Seated hamstring curls. Arguably the best hamstring curl variation there is. Now, there's two schools of thought or two camps as to how you're going to perform this exercise. You can either perform it hinging forward at the hips or perform it leaning as far back and securely into the seat as possible. Now, neither one is right or wrong. It heavily comes down to the individual. If you have adequate hip mobility, then hinging forward, provided that the hinging and the flexion is occurring at the hip joint and not through the lower vertebrae or through the lumbar spine, through the lower back, then there is going to be some utility and benefit to doing that. Provided you can stay stable, prevent your pelvis from moving around too much, but stay in more hip flexion, you're going to get a greater stretch through the hamstrings in doing so when leaning forward, hinging forward at the hips. But if that hinging or flexion is occurring through the lower back, you're just going to be unnecessarily involving the lower back, loading it more, and potentially risking an injury. So if you don't have the adequate hip mobility, and if you can't stay stable in that fully hip flexed position, leaning forward in a leg curl, then just lean back into the seat. You're going to be better off for it. You're going to get a lot more hamstring stimulus. Your pelvis is going to stay a lot more stable throughout the movement. And it's just going to be a win-win all around. But for me, I'm quite hypermobile through the hips. If anything, with hinging movements, I need to do a deficit if I want to get full range of motion. And hamstring curls, I can hinge forward at the hips with no issues whatsoever, maintain a stable pelvis and get more stretch through the hamstrings. So that's why I lean forward. But if you don't have that range, don't do it. If you've got a history of having lower back issues, you probably don't have adequate hip mobility. So I'd probably steer clear of it. Another thing that you want to do when doing a seated hamstring curl, whether you hinge forward or lean back, is you want to think about trying to slightly internally rotate at the hips. I find slightly internally rotating at the hips allows you to get a lot more hamstring involvement, and I just find it feels way better. You get a little bit of adductor as well, so that's what I'm doing. All right, final set. There we have it, 3 hours later and a freshly cleaned house. Floors are done, kitchen's cleaned, toilets are cleaned, pantry's cleaned, hallway, living area, the whole 9 yards. Am I great or am I great? I'm pretty proud of myself, I reckon. And I think the cats don't really give a shit, but they look pretty happy, so. Hey, you camera shy. You camera shy, Charlie. I still haven't had my post-workout meal yet, so I better get that sorted because it's nearly dinner time. It's 5:30 in the evening, so it's going to be a bit of an uncomfortable day with food, I can tell you that. Okay, post-workout meal finally, and what is it? It's 5:45. So 5:45 at night or 5:45 in the evening, and I'm finally having my post-workout meal. It's pretty late considering I finished training around 2 o'clock, so yeah, better late than never though. So a little bit of a change up from the usual post-workout meal. So as you can probably tell, I normally have the Ninja Creamy as my pre-bed meal, but I've decided to trial something different out. I guess I just want to experiment and see what happens as a result of this, because currently as of late, I've been waking up in the middle of the night to take a piss, and it's really been pissing me off because, no pun intended, it's really been pissing me off because, well, it ruins my fucking sleep. So I've decided to move this just because it's such a large amount of liquid. I mean, it is technically ice cream, but once ice cream defrosts and melts, it's a liquid. So having that much liquid right before bed, and then of course my pre-bed supplement drink, if I have that instead of the pills, I mean, that's a solid 700 ml of fluid right before bed. So you're not going to bed and not needing to wake up in the middle of the night to take a leak if you have that much fluid before bed. So I decided to move it to my post-workout meal, and then I moved one of the items from my post-workout meal to my pre-bed meal. So instead of having the Ninja Creamy pre-bed, I'm having the Ninja Creamy post-workout with my rice cakes, powdered peanut butter and honey, and then also some of this Mingle salted caramel seasoning, which we got from Michaela's sister for a Christmas gift. So we're slowly working our way through the box of different toppings and spice blends that we got from Mingle. So yeah, a bit of that on there for some extra texture and some extra sodium and flavor. But yeah, this for the post-workout meal, and then pre-bed what I'll be doing is just having the Nipro hydrolyzed vegan protein isolate bowl with the berries, dates and flaxseed, hemp seed, chia seed mixed through it, and that'll be what I'll do moving forward. Hopefully this works out, and hopefully I don't need to wake up in the middle of the night to take a piss tonight. If I don't, this will be a winning what would you call it? This would be a winning arrangement, and I will keep it as is moving forward if that's the case. So yeah, a solid session today. Really happy with how things went overall. Very happy. I mean, I matched load and reps on every movement, except for a couple of arm movements that actually hit some rep PRs, so I was really happy there. But yeah, nothing went backwards. That's the main thing. Would you look at that texture? Yeah,
That is how you make a Ninja Creamy. Legitimate ice cream texture. So, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.